Today's topic, transitioning to an attending physician. Smart financial moves for your first year. That's right. Last week, we covered what to do as a last year of training physician. This week, you are now an attending physician. So, what do we focus on? Well, we got 7. I would argue more than 7. 7 kind of has a few mixed in for things to focus on. So, 7 and some extra are all coming up next. So, we're going to get into that. If you're new to the channel, welcome. My name is Chad Chubb. I'm the founder of WealthKeel. I'm a CFP, a TPCP, and a CSLP. All that means is I love this stuff. For the last 15 years, myself and my team have been building financial plans for physicians and their families to make sure that they can keep doing what they love most. And that's why we dig into the nerdy stuff for them. So, again, if you're new to the channel, welcome. We try to give context to a lot of these topics that are digestible, and a lot of these topics that we cover on the videos are from our blog posts as well. So in today's video, we want to walk through what it looks like to be a first year attending physician. Again, last week's video we covered that last year of training. So now we want to transition into attendinghood. So 7 things, like I noted there in the intro. 7 has more than 1, so that's why I say it's kind of 7 and change. But at this phase now, things are real, right? You are now attending physician. Income is higher. Life is real. Life was always real, but now it's just got a lot more real, right? So here's what we're going to focus on. Number 1, review the offer before you build around it. So all things went according to plan. You likely have already signed it. Now, maybe you're blending these 2 videos together, which I highly suggest, right? They're pretty darn close in terms of timing. But review the offer. Have an attorney. I said this in the last video, right? Have an attorney review it. I know they're standard. It's not standard. Maybe you won't be able to change much in it, but at least know what's in there. But main things I want you to focus on here. So review the offer before you build around it. Don't rush the budget, house hunting, loans. Key things to keep an eye on, which again, with a good attorney, they will emphasize this, but compensation, base bonuses, RVUs, sign-on bonuses, relocations, duties, call schedule, restrictive covenants, and termination clauses. Again, have an attorney review it. Understand the medical malpractice section, occurrence versus claims made, tail coverage responsibility. Some specialties, this can be a juggernaut. For others, it might not be a crazy thing, but you should always know what's happening here. Understand the benefits, timing. These are areas that a good financial planning team, we love this stuff. When does health insurance kick in? Retirement, disability, CME. Those types of gaps in any of those can affect your emergency fund, your cash reserve. So keep an eye on all those things. Understand the retirement plans, right? Is there a retirement plan? Is it a 403B? Is it a 407B? Is it a 401k? Do they have options for a mega backdoor Roth? Do they have a pension plan in place? Is it a smaller employee with no plans? Hopefully that's not the case. But keep an eye on that. Understand the matching, understand the vesting, understand any delays. Not every employer allows you to jump right into it. There can sometimes be delays on when they're going to allow you to get into that plan. So review the offer, understand everything in that offer, which I said this again. I say this in all the videos. Even if you can't change anything in your contract, have an attorney and maybe even a great financial planning team to help you understand what this all means. That is a huge, huge leg up. So take your time on this. That's what we got for first on the list. Number 2, protect that new income, right? You just went to school for how many years? Yeah, make sure that you are protecting that income. Heaven forbid anything should happen to you in terms of disability or really heaven forbid premature death. Make sure that you are protecting that new income. First one that always comes to mind is disability insurance. Disability insurance is expensive. It's expensive for a reason. It's protecting your future earnings potential. Yes, you are probably going to get group coverage. That is likely not strong enough. It's likely not a true ONOC, at least not a true ONOC for the duration of the policy. You're likely, I'd almost say almost in every situation, assuming that you are insurable, you do want to look to get private coverage as well. So protect your new income. If you're still watching this in training, don't forget what I noted in the last video, right? The GSI, the guaranteed standard issue. Life insurance, if someone relies on your income, and that can be in a lot of different ways, you need term, emphasize again, term life insurance. Making sure you're keeping an eye. This is one that usually we focus on disability and term life insurance, right? But don't forget also that gap. If there is a gap, between when you end your training and when you start as attending. Make sure you have health insurance in place. Let's not have one weird health event trigger a huge, massive bill that we have on the books going forward a lot longer. If they go smoothly in the other one, great. But if you have to have COBRA for a period of time, don't forget about those things. So number 2 on the list, protect your new income. Number 3, and a lot of these probably sound similar to what we covered in the last one, because these are all core financial principles. The key in these 2 videos is we're trying to say, hey, this is how you should focus on maybe a little bit different now because of this phase, this stage of your career. So number 3, set your attending budget. This is probably one of the most important practical steps of the entire basis of what you do in financial planning going forward. This is where we talk about lifestyle creep. This is where we talk about living like a budget, right? Or living like a budget. Living like a resident. Dr. Dolly, what could investor? Because if you start to let things creep up now, it's going to be very hard to pull them back in the future. So be very intentional about your budget. Leave wiggle room. You should not have every dollar accounted for. That's a good thing, right? Leave some wiggle room in there for you as well. But if you're sitting here and you're like, hey, we have no kids yet, but we have some serious family planning goals, leave room in there. Yes, your income should go up, but still, we want to leave some wiggle room there. And this is also why we're always very picky about how much home you buy, what cars you buy, any big ticket items early on in your career. Whether that's this first year, second year, third year, fourth year, you're still building that foundation. So continue to live like a resident for at least the next 6 to 12 months. I think it kind of depends on what your student loan situation looks like. I think that's one of the bigger things in there. But major changes that are going to occur. Taxes. You're going to really feel what Uncle Sam hands out in taxes now. You got your big kid paycheck. Walk through your first pay stub. See your federal taxes, your local taxes, your state taxes, Social Security, your FICA taxes, right? Keep an eye on those things. Insurance premiums, those are going to also take a jump here, especially if you increase your disability insurance. Student loan payments, housing transition, emergency fund, transition reserves, retirement, HSA contributions, daily life, right? Childcare, food, commuting, subscriptions, personal spending. Now, some of those could have been in place before, right? But still, we're now jumping in where things can get a lot higher, especially if kids come into play, commuting, things of that nature. So number 3, set your attending budget. Take your time on this. This one is one you want to get right now. If you get this right now, I promise you it's going to feel a lot better, not only next year, but for decades to come. All right. What do we got for number 4 on the list? Pick a student loan direction. When I do my public speaking engagements, I always will tell the audience, in a perfect world, you're going one of 2 routes and you know it sooner than later. You're either going for public service loan forgiveness or you're going for aggressive payoff. The sooner you know that, the better. Student loans have essentially become the Wild West, and who the heck knows what they're going to look like a month from now, or let alone 2, 3, 4 years from now. But you need to at least be on track for something. And if you take one thing away from this video, remember, federal loans will at least provide flexibility for you if there is any pivots. And I say that because if you're like, oh, I'm private practice, I'm never going back to, the nonprofit hospital. So I'm never going to get PSLF. I'm just going to move everything over to private. Then you get to your private job and you hate it. And you're like, oh, sugar, I'm now applying for academic roles again. All of a sudden, you switch those loans to private. We can't undo that one. That's a gone. That's a gone, or that's a lost cause. We can't fix that one. So even if you do go private practice, you're like, I'm not going to get PSLF. Just make sure you love that role. Take your time. We can always swing them back over. You might be able to get some lower rates on the private side, but even if you're paying a little bit higher interest for a short period of time, that's okay. Much better than losing PSLF forever. A little bit of an insurance play there. If you are going to pay them off, don't forget, refinancing student loans is one of the easiest things out there. There's not closing costs, so it really becomes, if you find a lower rate, lock it in. Finding the duration of your repayment, is this a 5 years? Is this a 10-year? Ideally, we like to keep it on the shorter end there, right? Your income is high. You're also not used to living off of this high of income yet. Try to apply more to those student loans because, again, you're just not used to this income. We could be more aggressive on our loans. We'll free things up down the line. This is also a much more personal conversation on where that fits, but ideally, the more aggressive, the better in terms of private loans or more aggressive payoff. You could even be aggressive on federal loans, right? There's nothing that says it has to be a private loan. So just kind of keep that in mind there. But Understanding, pick a student loan direction. Again, work with a good financial planner. There's even student loan only advisors out there that can help you get things organized, whether that's finding the proper payment plan or the proper payment path in terms of PSLF or maybe traditional forgiveness as well, the more 20-25 year forgiveness or PSLF. If you're at the VA, we also get some other programs in there. So understand your student loan direction. Number 4. How are we doing on time? Good. All right. Number 5, put your higher income to work. And everyone loves, what's my order of operations, Chad? Well, let's give you the order of operations. So with this newer income, here's how I want you to think about life. First and foremost, going back to number 4, what's your student loan strategy? That's probably one of the big ones there. If you're going for PSLF, great. The number's locked in. You know what you got to pay. Go for that. If you're going for private payoff, that's where the numbers get more important here. I would also note, I wish I could swing one up above that. Again, we don't see it all that often, but it does happen. And if this is you, no shame. But if you do have credit card debt, that's likely above all this. Just the rate alone prioritizes that. At least getting a good portion until the credit card debt is out of the way, and then we'll work down this line here. Emergency cash reserve, your emergency fund. Next up would be the full employer match, HSA, Roth, backdoor Roth, additional workplace retirement. So that's more or less coming in and topping off the 403b, maybe a 457b's in there as well, 401k if you're private practice. And then we'll head towards that taxable account. The taxable account is your utility player. I always call it the utility player. That can work in a lot of different ways, but that should be towards the tail end of, hey, we've already optimized everything else before that. There can be some shifting here. Loan balances, PSLF, family situation goals, clearly that'll move. There's a flexible guideline, but that should be a pretty good way to work top down on things you should at least be thinking about and working your way down that list. All right, number 6, other key attending transition considerations. First one I wrote down, tax withholding and bonuses. Update your W-4. You might not know this yet. I would say probably your first year as an attendant, even that first year is tough because usually I call it my hybrid year, right? You had about 6 months of training, the tail end of your training, then 6 months of attending. So your tax picture is probably not super dialed in here. That next year where you're full attending, that's where it starts to get a little bit more clear. But if you're getting large tax bills, which that's never fun, add in underpayment penalties, or you're getting large tax refunds, also not ideal. Uncle Sam does not pay interest. Work on your W-4. If you have a good accountant, you have a good financial advisor, dial in that W-4. We didn't even talk about 1099 income, but if you have a side gig with 1099 income, don't forget there's no taxes withheld there. You might have to start either withholding more on your W-4 or add in quarterly estimated payments. Relocation realities, factor in new city cost of living, state taxes. Don't forget about local taxes. We're from Philadelphia. Philly has higher local taxes than there are state taxes. So keep that in mind. I know a lot of other parts of the country don't really have local taxes. They just have their state taxes. But keep that in mind. Commuting, childcare, schools. Home buying, don't forget about physician mortgages. I haven't really touched on that one in either one of these videos, but that is an ace you have in your back pocket. Doesn't mean it's perfect. Check out some of our other videos, some of our other blog posts. Physician mortgages are a good option for you. Possibly, again, crunch the numbers. Don't rush into home buying. I know I've said this on numerous videos too, but don't be scared to rent for another 6, 12 months, 18 months. I know you want to lay down roots. I know you're sick of moving. You're sick of renting. I know, I get it. We talk about this every day, day in, day out for the last 15 years with our clients. I get it, even when we do our public speaking. Don't rush into it. Lifestyle commitments here, cars, vacations, private schools, big houses, those types of things, pay off high interest consumer debt. That's a credit card I noted earlier before. And then number 7, I more or less was tracking FAQs, frequently asked questions. And then I just wanted to put a few things down here. So, one of the questions we get often, what do you do first? Well, first you should review that offer, contract, benefits, take home pay and loans, how much to save, focus on the emergency fund, employer match, a reasonable rate before lifestyle expands. Employer disability, is it enough? Usually not. I'm going to say almost every single time it's not. You're going to supplement with an individual true ONOC policy, find a good independent insurance broker. If you go over to my other podcast and YouTube channel, Physician Sense, we have some great agents listed on there. They're independent. They can help you find the right policy for your specific needs. Buying the house right away, likely only if you are familiar with the job already and the area. If either one of those is not true, I would likely lean more towards renting. Sign on or relocation bonuses. Don't forget about taxes. Uh, and then put that money away. Don't label it all as fun money. I'm okay putting some of that as fun money. I'm okay with that. You worked your butt off for that sign on bonus. But just be careful here. Maybe load up the emergency fund, maybe a little bit of travel, maybe a little bit of spending in there for some things that your financial advisor doesn't want to hear about, but that's okay. But make sure you have a plan in there for the sign on bonus, relocation bonus. And that should be it. I mean, that covers a lot. Even our video from last week, I think, gives you good context on things to be focusing on coming towards the tail end. This is like, hey, now we're officially an attending, and we're now heading into year 1, 2, 3, 4 as an attending. But both of these work together well. Again, a lot of the topics are similar, but we're just building on, hey, we have a higher income now. Life's starting to heat up a little bit. Things are getting more serious. So I hope you enjoyed today's video. As always, if you have questions, drop those comments below. As you'll see from past videos, I try to get back to every one of those comments. Soon it's not spam. We don't get a lot of spammers though. New to the channel, subscribe. If you like the video, you got something out of it, give us a thumbs up today. If you are a subscriber, click on the bell icon, get a notification every time we release a new video, which we do weekly. Wealth Kill Go link. Sign up for an icebreaker call. Sign up for the Wealth Kill Weekly. Submit questions for future videos. That's it. Thank you for hanging out with me for the last 15 minutes or so. And as always, I will catch you on the next video.